Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Chris Lapardi. I'm here with my good friend Dan Cortine, and we're here with our podcast, A Father's Love Healing Through Heartache. Another week that we made it through, with not having our boys and dealing with the grief of not having them with us. But positivity, looking forward is how we're going to keep moving and uh, continuing their memory in a good way. So with that though, we're going to go over another difficult situation that we deal with as we deal with our grief, and that's how do you deal with time alone? Is it helpful? Is it not helpful? So before we get into that topic, Dan, how you doing, buddy?
Hey Chris, I'm doing okay, same as every other day, I think.
Yeah, this was I had some up and down days this week. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. Like usual, some moments that really got me down, and then some other moments where I felt pretty good overall. So, um, just taking it day by day. That's all we can do.
Absolutely, we've talked about that many times.
So, I think I brought this topic up, but I'm going to let you talk first, Dan, if you want to. So, I recently went on a trip and I had a lot of time alone, and I'll get into how that was with me, but I think I'm going to let you talk first today, and why don't you just give us your perspective on time alone? That those moments where you can really think about everything. You don't have any distractors around you. You don't have anything else but your thoughts, and how it can either be really good or really bad. So, yeah, let me know what you think.
Yeah, I think time alone is just like everything else when you're grieving. It's a double-edged sword where everybody enjoys some time alone to just get some downtime, recharge, pursue a personal interest, uh, whatever it is. But also we're in a position where we're walking a journey that is absolutely awful to walk alone. So, time alone is one of those things that I've really struggled with. I feel guilty if I am not here with Erica and Reese. And it really is that simple where if I go out and take time for myself, Erica has never once, even before we lost Jameson, given me any kind of difficulty when I wanted to be alone. We have a very good marriage in that sense that we've always, hey, you want to go do something, go do it. I mean, as long as there wasn't something on our calendar that we had already scheduled, obviously, we've always been very open to, yeah, go live your life and do what you want to do. And if it's something that we both enjoy, we'll go do it together as a family. And if it's something individually, then that is totally fine as well. But I feel guilty leaving her because I feel like I'm leaving her alone and not there to support her if she needs anything. I feel like I'm leaving her alone to do the chores. Just whatever it is. I don't like leaving her alone. And then it's a similar idea with Reese, except I feel like I'm failing as a father because I want to be there for Reese and I want to be there to support him and help Erica with Reese. So I battle with it. I get a lot of time alone, which I'll talk about throughout tonight, but it's a struggle.
Yeah, it is, and for me, it was. I'm the same way. Like Amanda and I are the same way. If I needed time alone, I could find it. Actually, I actually used to get a lot of time alone on shift when I was at the firehouse because those are nights where I could do what I wanted. Really, I was just at the firehouse instead of at home, but I didn't have any child responsibilities or any of that stuff. So, um, yeah, I used to get a lot of free time actually. Now that I think about it, as we dive into this a little bit more, but this recent trip, I recently went on a trip to Ohio for a training course, and I thought I really needed it, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a good um, recovery time. Like, I just needed a break, needed a recharge, and it was not what I thought it would be. It was very rough emotionally. I felt very alone. I felt very disconnected. My mind was wandering everywhere, like all over the place. Just and not good stuff, bad stuff. Bad stuff with losing Mason, bad stuff with the hospital, memories of his birth all the way up to him passing. Just every night hitting me. I had really bad insomnia. I wasn't sleeping at all. So it, for somebody like me that occasionally likes to be alone, I was shocked at how hard it hit me and how difficult it was. Um, and that was the first time I've been alone since Mason had passed. So, everyone's always alone probably a couple times throughout the day where no one's with them, but you're not usually alone for 2 or 3 weeks where, yeah, I'll go to class during the day, but then, every night I was by myself from probably 4:30 until 8 o'clock the next day when I started class. And, I don't really know any of those people. We're, acquaintances, but not anybody I know. So it was a very difficult process. I made it through, but really opened up my eyes for sure about that downtime and how easy it is to let your mind take over during your difficult times of grief. Did you ever experience any of that before, Dan?
Yeah, I think it sounds to me very similar to even people that aren't grieving, that when you have downtime, idle time, your mind wanders. And for a lot of people, your mind wanders into bad areas, which everybody has thoughts that aren't good at some point in their life. But again, when you're grieving, it just is a whole new universe of places that your thoughts can go. And I know I've struggled in the times I've had time to be alone and really think. It is a time that I've spent a lot of time playing the what if game. And I just did it again the other day. I was alone in my office at school and I had a few minutes of I just needed a break to kind of breathe. I had been teaching solid for a few hours and I just needed to sit. And I've been working on my office at school, hanging up pictures of the family, and I'm going through these pictures of everybody, and I'm just looking at Jameson, thinking about those moments that we had that were wonderful moments at the time, and those are good memories. And then automatically it shifts into the memories or the what ifs and the regrets of never going to have that memory again. That's the last picture, one of the last pictures I'm ever going to have taken of him. Never going to see a picture of him older. So it's just a hard thing because your mind can wander into so many different directions. And I think for me, something you said that resonates is that um, when I'm truly alone versus when I'm alone in a room but there's other people around, that I think helps because at least it's something going on next to me that maybe can keep my mind from going to the really really ugly places. And you mentioned on your trip, like, yeah, you were in class where you have a lot of alone time in the hotel and things, but I know for me at least during the school day, I'm alone in my office, but I've got the kids on the computer. I've got the PE teachers right through a door, so that helps control my mind somewhat.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, definitely being in class during that time helped out a lot. And I didn't think about it throughout the day. It really was the idle alone time. Same thing, like the second guessing decisions. That was the first couple nights. I was really beating myself up hard about decisions made in the hospital and if I made the right decisions or not. And then it gradually went to the moment of him actually passing and us having to decide to take him off life support, and holding him until he passed. That was the next couple of days. And then the next couple of days was the funeral, and, the funeral home and the wake and the service and everything like that. So it kind of was like a storyline in my mind, but it was on just kept playing over and over and over and over and over. So, um, yeah, it didn't really stop actually until I got back home and the class was over and I got to be back with Amanda and the boys. And, um, I don't have a good answer for those out there that are maybe listening that are dealing with the same thing. Try to surround yourself with your loved ones as much as you can. Call them, talk to them. That's what I did. I did call Amanda a lot and talk to her, and um, talk to family, and of course they're all supportive, of course. And for me, it's a little different because I don't have a lot of family support around wherever I'm stationed, or usually when I'm in class, I have Amanda and the boys, and that's about it. I don't have other family members close by, which can be difficult. So if you're listening and you have family members around and you're alone, maybe give somebody a call. Say, hey, can you come hang out with me? I'm not doing well tonight. Don't stay alone. Don't let your mind wander and make it worse on yourself. There's options out there that you can do to take care of yourself and not beat yourself up over it. So
Right. And I think I can flip that with also to the people who are our community and our family. If you know that we are alone, going away for class for 2 weeks or going away for a weekend or whatever, that would be a great time for some text messages, emails, maybe a phone call, just to let us know again that we're not alone. And yeah, hey, is everything okay? I know you're staying home alone in a hotel room tonight. Do you need to talk, or do you want to talk just because it'll help you pass the time? I think it's a great opportunity for people to step up and just show that they care about us still. Very simple way. And it probably doesn't need to be a long conversation. Again, it could be a text message, but it's a very simple way to say, hey, Chris, I care about you. And I know you're alone. I imagine maybe it's hard, but I care about you. I'm here if you want to talk.
yeah, I think that's a great point. I don't know, for some reason in my mind, it kind of popped up and I know we've talked about this a little bit, Dan. I know you've had some recent experience with this and we've said it so many times on the podcast, and I think we just keep saying it because it's so true. Everybody goes on with their normal life and it's totally normal. But for us, it's like every day. And I'm not joking when I say I literally think about Mason passing away every single day. And those that are going through grief, you're probably going through the same thing every single day. So if you're listening and you're not going through that grief, you're just looking for ways to maybe help out. Like Dan said, reaching out to that person, it helps out more than you realize, because we're living this hell every day and it's impossible. There's no escape. There never will be any escape. We're just trying to get through the day in terms of, not treating anyone bad, trying to still be a good person when you have all this anger and hate that can build up because of what happened to you and your family. So I know that's what I'm trying to go with right now. I battle with it a lot. Um, you know, it's those signs of depression and sadness that putting on that face. I can put on that face at work really well. I can act like nothing's wrong. But boy, it's those times I leave work, it is not, I just put on that fake face the whole day. So it starts to wear on you quite a bit. And I think that maybe causes the mind to wander even more when you're alone, because, you're faking it so much.
Yeah. But I think it makes the time alone even that much more important because, yeah, we spend the majority of our days, every day, faking it, and that is exhausting. Do that on top of doing our job, on top of being a husband and a father, and whatever other roles we have. That all takes energy. And then we spend all this energy just faking that we are okay because we don't want to put people in a spot where they feel guilty or whatever it is. And it's just draining. And I hit a wall every day at about 1:30 when I say goodbye to my kids online because I work really hard with them all morning long in the first part of the afternoon, and then also to try to be on and be somebody that you're not. It just takes so much energy out of you that if and then we come home, and I love coming home with Erica and Reese, and obviously I love seeing them and spending time with them, but it's to the point I need a break. I need to just be able to sit back and do nothing for a few minutes. And that's hard if you're trying to be a good husband, and it's really hard if you're trying to be a good father because I know as a husband, I want Erica to be able to rest too. I know that she's going through very similar things. So we come home and the dishes have to be done and cleaning has to be done. So instead of going and taking a few moments, try to help out with those things. And then trying to be a good father. And Reese wants to play or whatever, read a book or whatever it is to spend time together and try to do that on top of already being exhausted. And again, we're not saying anything's different. Everybody goes home from work exhausted. But we have that extra layer of really having to have faked our ways through the day because of our loss. So it's just one more element thrown in the mix for us.
Yeah, and I think as I hear you talk, Dan, I think about like that's why it's important those say yes days, those Jameson Joy, message, say yes, go do important things with your loved ones, go have fun with them, are so important because we had a say yes day today. I was telling Dan about it, and we needed it. We just need to get out as a family because so many days where I get home and I am just exhausted. Like I usually leave for work around 7 in the morning, and this last week I got home around 7 at night every day. So I was just spent every day, and I hardly saw Carson at all. I mean, he goes to bed at 8:30. He's in kindergarten, so 8:30 is usually when we put him down. I saw maybe an hour a day. That's just not enough for me. Same thing with my other boys. So when you have those things, think about it's okay to take that time if you need it. If you don't need it and it's messing with you, then don't take it. If you need it, take it. But then also make a plan to make sure you're spending those times with your loved ones, letting them know how much you care and love for them and want to spend time with them, want to be with them. Super important. We're it's funny. Amanda and I were talking today as we were driving. We had to drive an hour away for Ryan's soccer game, and we said to ourselves, it took us a little over a year and a month now since we've been here in Delaware. It took us that amount of time to get to the point where we feel like we're living a normal life again, without, of course we wish Mason was with us. We said that's the only thing missing. Otherwise, if Mason was here, it'd feel like all the other places we've been stationed. So, just it takes time to adjust, and that's I think the point I'm trying to get is let's see here, a year and a half almost since Mason passed. We're coming up on his second birthday without him, which is shocking to me. I feel like I just had the first birthday without him, and coming up on the second birthday without him, second Christmas, coming up on the 2-year anniversary next year, and it's just it's crazy how fast time is going not having him there with us, and I hate it. I really do. I don't know if Dan, if you think about that, like that time, how it kind of flows in a sense, the milestones that are being missed.
Yeah, I think about him all the time. We talked about it last episode, and we talk about it all the time. Jameson would have started sixth grade this year, middle school, and everybody's posting their first day of school pics. And we're posting ours, but it's only part of our family. Um, just we've talked about it a million times, every activity is partially complete. And it's hard. It wears on us. Again, everybody has things going on. We understand that. This is our extra layer, and if we're honest, if everybody's honest, no matter what struggle you're going through, there are some struggles that are a lot harder than others, and a lot more draining than others. And this has to be one of the hardest ones. Um, but again, then that makes the time alone so much more important so that we can mentally deal with what we're going through. Because if we're not mentally healing is the wrong word, but if we're not mentally improving our health, we can't be a good husband, we can't be a good father, we can't be a good employee, we can't be a good whatever it is we need to be. And it's it's just hard. It's draining and it's hard.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point too. Like, I don't know if I ever. In fact, I don't even have to say I don't know. I already know I will never be fully healed from losing Mason. You know, we've talked to other dads. I know Dan and I have talked to other dads that have lost their children, and a lot of them have given us the same advice. To be honest, that the pain and hurt will never go away. It just becomes more and more bearable as the time goes on. You know, and I can already sense that now. I am still extremely sad that I don't have Mason, but it's a different sad than the initial shock of losing him, and how it has worn off. The shock is wearing off more and more. I could feel it, and the different kind of sadness I feel now not having him there with us. And I know, Dan, you told me that was going to happen. That kind of happened with you as well, in your second year, and how it could feel more difficult. And I don't know, for me, if it feels more difficult, it feels different, but it's still pretty intense. You know, I still have my days where I cry quite a bit, and then I have my other days where I feel okay. Compared to the first year, I will say the first 10 months, guaranteed, I cried every single day for quite a bit of time. It hit me very hard. So, yeah, how did that hit you, Dan?
See, it's the first year for me was all the shock and extreme pain, but it was all just shock. It wasn't, because again, the first of everything. I think looking back over my 2.5 years on this journey, the first year was when we got the foundation up pretty quickly, and we were working on planning the music festival fundraiser, and it was a great thing for me to have because it kept me busy, like really busy, especially during the summertime when teachers have a lot more idle time to let their mind wander. It was a great distraction for me, and I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back on it, that was a really good, helpful thing for me to stay busy. On the flip side, again, though, there's always a flip side with grief. I realized in year 2 that I didn't really heal at all in year 1. I buried everything under the music festival and under the foundation. And it was a great distraction, but it was not healing. And year 2, it was literally Jameson's birthday. His or sorry, not his birthday, the 1 year anniversary of his death, that I felt a huge weight off my shoulders, because that the shock part disappeared. We were done with all the firsts. But immediately that kicked into the memory part and the fact that we're never going to create any more memories. And again, the pictures and just all that. I'm never going to get to play soccer with him again, play catch with him. And all of those things really came into focus for me. And I don't know, looking back, if I hadn't been doing the music festival, if all that stuff would have hit me in year one and year one would have been worse, or if it still would have been the same. But again, I know the music festival helped me by distracting me, but it spread out the coping with our new life, which was a good thing in a sense, but it made year two a lot harder. And it hit me. Well, then actually, because the summer after that was COVID, so that summer wasn't normal. So again, we had a lot of time alone, kind of, but Erica, Reese, and I were together all the time, and it was hard to get out anywhere and be alone. And again, trying to mentally heal somewhat, you need to be able to have time alone, but being alone sucks. So the COVID summer certainly didn't help. This summer, I could feel a definite difference. I got some rest. And we still had another fundraiser I was working hard on, but I had a lot more time to rest. And I can confidently say that it did help me. Erica and I were both able to get out alone. She did some hiking things. She spent a week in the Rockies with her best friend. I was able to go to Georgia and just spend some time there hunting and fishing and all that. So little things, and it did help. So this year's been better, less certainly less painful, but like Chris just said, every day still it's always there. It's never going to go away. And I had a friend from Raleigh this week write me a note, and she's 8.5 years in. She lost her son at birth, and if you hang out with her, you can tell that the grief is always there. But again, you watch her, and it's like, man, she's really doing well. And there's obviously moments on anniversaries, and she does a walk every year for the awareness of what took her son. But you look at her, it's like she really looks put together. She told me this week how clearly she fakes it, like we'd already talked about. She told me flat out, I'm 8.5 years in, and it still sucks. And Chris and I have those discussions with the other dads that the ones who are farther down this road tell us that, yep, this part may be better, but this part's still not. And we're trying to pass that information on to fathers who are a little bit newer in this journey than we are, just to keep their eyes open to what's going to come.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the good thing. I mean, there was no good thing of Mason passing, but as I started meeting other dads that lost their children, I think going into them, they all told me the same thing, that it becomes more bearable. It's going to hurt forever. And but them telling me it becomes more bearable actually gave me some hope. Like, okay, when I talked to these gentlemen, the one guy, he's at 10 years now. His son passed, and the other one, I want to say like 28 or 29, a long time, a very long time. His son passed in the 80s. And when they say, like, listen, it still hurts. I still think of my boy every day, but I can have fun. I can go out. I can be with friends, be with loved ones. It gave me hope that I could get through this. And, I still hang on to that hope every day, to be honest. And so those that are listening, I know this is more of a sad episode that Dan and I are talking about, the hard parts of it. Like we always say, we want to be raw and real, tell you the truth. We don't want to leave you hanging. I will say that a year and a half in, almost to 2 years, that I don't feel a ton better, but I feel it is more bearable. And I can see how they say at 10 or 20, 30 years that they're living happy lives now, and they think of the better memories more. Because that was another thing too. Like every time I would go visit Mason at the cemetery, I would always think of just the bad stuff. And this is the last couple of months I went, I didn't think of the bad stuff. I thought of good memories with Mason, and it gave me hope that those good memories are going to keep hopefully coming in my mind and helping me through this difficult time. And yeah, so I mean, for those listening, there is hope out there. There is hope that we can get through this together. That's why we got to be so supportive. That's why Dan and I are doing this. That's why we want you to reach out. If you need help, we want you to call, go to mental health, go see a chaplain, go do whatever you need to do to help you through this time, because you're not alone. We're here for you. We want to help you out.
Yeah. And I think that's maybe the biggest point for me in our discussion today is that there's a difference between us having time alone and us being alone. Where, again, whether you're grieving or not, you need time alone. You need time away from life to go process life, do something fun, again, whatever it is, unwind. But you can go have time alone and still know that in life you're not alone. Because, again, people are checking in with you constantly and texting, calling, talking to you, and just letting you know that you're there. And that has been pushed right up to the front of my mind again, of people's mental health and their ability to whether they're alone or not, but not feel alone. In the last, I guess it's a month now, our community is just getting rocked time and time again. We've had multiple children killed in horrific, tragic accidents. And then just on Thursday and Friday this week, our school staff has suffered 3 losses of all adults, but still, grief is grief. And it doesn't matter if it's a kid or adult, parent, whatever. Grief sucks in every way. And our community just keeps getting rocked with death, where these people are they're going to want to be alone because they don't have the energy to fake being good in front of people and dealing with answering questions and people asking what happened and all these things that we've talked about before. It's just draining. But they're going to need to be alone to process things. But they also need to know that they're not alone, that when they're ready, there are people there that care about them and will walk with them or carry them through the new hell that they're in.
Yeah, great point. I mean, I don't think I could have gotten to this point without having people to lean on. In fact, I know for sure I couldn't have. And I think same thing with you, Dan. And grieving parents or grief in general, you can really lean on someone else that has grief because they have that mutual connection, that understanding. And I would say grieving parents, there is that bond, there's that connection. As I've met people now since Mason passed, and I find out other people that have lost their children, you don't even have to say anything. You just look at each other and you just kind of do a little head nod like, yeah, I get it. I know, man. And, but you know what? It's good to know that we can lean on each other for that. And, again, if you're listening and you need support, we're willing to help you. We can help you find people by you if you need help. Don't do this alone. Try and find somebody that can help you through this and get through these difficult moments. So,
yeah, you just said something that stood out with me. Eric and I had this discussion just the other night about men, and men don't share feelings, men aren't allowed to be emotional, and all that. It's all a bunch of crap. But I remember very clearly the first time I walked back into my school after Jameson had passed. There were two male teachers there that they saw me from a small distance, but they saw me from a distance, and they didn't say anything. They looked at me and they nodded what Chris just said. And that told me, hey, I'm with you. And I'm not gonna try to put some pleasantry out there to make you feel better. Not gonna make you talk to me, but I acknowledge you and you are not alone. And I can picture both of them clearly doing that, and that is very comforting when things like that happen. So, again, just emphasizing the fact that there's a difference between us having time alone versus being alone on this journey.
Yeah, and I would say to those, if you're listening and you're not dealing with grief, but you're listening to like maybe get some ideas of helping those that are dealing with grief, I will. I recently this week or last week actually had a friend I was talking to. I could tell something was wrong. I was like, man, something feels off. And I was just very upfront, like, what's wrong with you? What is going on? And he just told me that he was just going through some stuff in mind from some grief of his own. And we were able to talk through it. I hope I helped him a little bit. I gave him some, ideas of how he could deal with his grief and some help he could get if he wanted to. And I think he went and got the help. And, I think if you're listening, don't be afraid to take that leap. I think some people are afraid to ask the hard questions because they're afraid they're going to offend their friend. But you know what? You're actually being a much better friend by being very straight up with him or her and saying, hey, what's up? Something seems off with you. What's going on? Don't be afraid to take that jump and try and help them out.
Yeah, I had a discussion with a couple guys on Thursday because I've been feeling very alone in life the last few weeks. I won't get into the specifics about that, but some things happened that made me just feel like I'm walking alone, like seriously alone on this journey. And I talked with two of these guys and I told them what was going on, and they're like, I'm sorry, my bad, I forgot about something. Or I didn't forget, but I didn't know what to say. And Chris and I have talked about that before, where it people can say some really incredibly hurtful things. But even the majority of the worst things you could possibly say to people, um, it's at least that you're saying something and trying to be helpful. There's major benefits and points from at least saying something. Silence, I think, Chris, if I remember right, we were in agreement on this, that silence and feeling like we're alone in life is absolutely not what we want. We'd rather have people say something and say the wrong thing, because we'll get over, if it makes us mad, we'll get over it in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You don't get over feeling alone. You don't get over feeling like I'm walking this journey by myself and there is not a person that I can go talk to on those worst days that I'm having.
Yeah, and Dan, as you talked, I thought about it a little bit. If we're being very frank and honest here, like, listen, if you're dealing with grief, as the grief goes on, you're going to feel more alone because when you first lose your loved one, you have a ton of support typically. Lots of people reaching out to you from everywhere, everyone you know, especially if you lose your child. I know Dan and I have talked about tons of support. And that's not to say I don't have support anymore. I know I do, but you start to feel it. It starts to tone down more and more. I've noticed here from year one, first year, tons of support. Second year, we still have a lot of support, but it's kind of, you almost feel like they're forgetting. And again, like it's hard to explain because people are going to go on with their life. They can't think of Mason's passing or Jameson's passing forever. But at the same sense, we do. So it's hard because you're like, hey, over here, remember me? You were all there to help me a year ago or 2 years ago. Where are you now? Because it's getting harder. So I say that just if you're listening and dealing with grief to, not be afraid to ask for that help from the friends if you need to, or be very blatant and honest. Be like, hey, my loved one's anniversary is coming up or birthday. I'm not going to do good. Can you help me, please? And I will venture to say the majority of those people will help you if you ask for it. But don't be shocked, as time goes on, unfortunately, that people go back to their lives. And like Dan said, they either don't know what to say or they completely forget. And it sucks, but it's a harsh reality and it is what it is.
Yep. And again, whether it's grief or not, I'd venture to say it's 95% or higher of people who are living in this world have issues, have something going on in their life. And how many of them feel like they don't have anybody they can talk to? Men, put your pride aside and go talk to people. I hate saying that one of the good things to come out of Jameson's death, because I think everybody understands what I'm saying there. But one of the things that's come out of Jameson's death is that it's humbled me a lot and made me much more aware of other people. And I think I'm constantly checking on other people. Hey, like Chris just said, hey, seems like something's bothering you today. Is everything okay? Is there something you want to talk about? Something I can help? And just trying to, again, let people know that they're not alone. It's so simple. Chris talking made me think, like, first day of school, when you're posting your first day of school pics, I have to imagine that a fair number of people thought about Jameson and a fair number of people thought about Mason. What a great time to send a text and just say, hey, I I imagine today's heart. Hey, I'm thinking of you today. You can't go wrong with I'm thinking about you. I mean, it's simple. You're stating a simple fact, and it takes 5 seconds to let somebody that's hurting know that they are not alone. And first day of school, birthdays, all holidays, Father's Day. Father's Day sucks. Father's Day will. I cannot see, even with healing over time and in 20 years, I can't see Father's Day ever being a happy day again. Um, so a simple text, not saying Happy Father's Day, because it's not, but I'm thinking of you today. I care about you, would be amazing. And again, even if it's not grief, you're talking to people who are close to you. If you care about them, let them know.
Yeah, and the way you let it off is perfect. Put your pride aside, men. Put your pride aside. That is a good thing. I mean, most men are prideful by nature. They're afraid to ask for help. So one of the things I do at work to try to show guys is we have a work calendar that we put up. We have to put our appointments and schedules up so that everyone knows where everyone is because we're a very small office, the new office I work in now. So one of the things though is when I go to my mental health appointment, I put that on my calendar. I put mental health appointment. And my boss came to me and was like, "Hey man, you don't have to air your stuff out. You don't have to put mental health appointment." And I was like, "No, I want that. I want people to know that I'm going to mental health because if I can go and it's not affecting my career, right? I just got promoted and I just got a new job, which was kind of a promotion. Like, if I can do that, any of them could go do that and go get help. And that's kind of the point. Like, listen, I put my pride aside. I knew I needed help. I knew I couldn't do it without going to counseling. Um, and it's helped. It's helped a lot. I'm not going to say I'm there, but I'm definitely working through it, and it's helping. Um, and like Dan said, I feel the exact same way. The only good that has come out of losing Mason is I know that I've helped others with their mental health issues and getting them help, and they feel comfortable coming to me because they know I've been through these situations now. And um, I really hope that's not why God took Mason or Jameson, because other people needed help. But if that's what it is, and we're helping others, then I'm gonna go with that to help me get through the day. To be honest.
Yeah, and I want people to hear clearly, based on what Chris just said, that, I mean, we all, whether it's pride or whatever, we all wait too long to ask for help, and we all wait too long to offer help. And look at the suicide rates. Look at the number of people who are hurting, where we've got to change this world. And yeah, I hate the thought that God allowed Jameson to die to humble me and make me a more caring person. But I've got to try to do something to help. I can't have these experiences and not try to help other people. And I think if you look back to season 1 with some of the other dads that came on, they didn't want to come on. But if you listened to them talk, you could see the healing, a few steps of healing taking place literally right in front of your eyes. And who knows, literally a life may have been saved that day. You never know. You never know the impact that you can have on somebody just by letting them know that they are not alone. And again, that hits close home to us because we had, in the last 3 weeks, we've had 2 high schoolers commit suicide in our tiny little mountain home community. And it's just horrifying to think about the number of people that maybe could have literally saved a life had they asked a simple question, how you doing? Made a simple statement, hey, I care about you. You look like you're having a rough day. Can I sit with you at lunch? Whatever it is.
Yeah, perfect. Well, Dan, anything else you think we should add?
No, I think probably said it all, repeated ourselves many times.
Hey, I mean, I think we do that sometimes on this, but you know what? It's because it's important.
Yep.
And we're saying it because it's important. And we're living it every day. So we're here for everyone. We hope you're progressing however you need to, whether you're in the first couple days, weeks, months, or even years in. We're here to help. We're just part of the family. And whatever we can do to help, by all means, please reach out to us anyway, whether it's social media or info@jamesonsjoy.org. I'm gonna do a confession here, Dan. I know I said I would have the email set up, and I tried a couple times, but here's the thing. The way I'm trying to set it up, it's asking for the info for the nonprofit, and the nonprofit is not officially set up. So I didn't want to mess it up by not having that info. So I was like, I'm just going to pause and take the hit. Dan will yell at me a little bit, but I know I'm getting closer now. So
yeah. And let's throw that out there again. If anybody knows an attorney in Delaware who can set up a nonprofit, or an attorney anywhere that can help Chris get a Delaware nonprofit set up, please reach out, because he's having some issues finding somebody that'll actually do that.
Yeah, I mean, I really did not think it would be that difficult. Now, I did find an organization. that helps nonprofits in Delaware. I'm going to be giving them a call on Monday, seeing what they can do to help me, and go from there. So hopefully, I'm going to do fingers crossed. Maybe by next episode, I'll at least have an attorney that I can work with and get this set up. And if not, you know what? I'm just going to wing it and go to one of those legal websites, and I'm going to file the paperwork myself, because I'm sick of waiting now. I'm ready to get going on this. So,
Yep.
It's go time. I'm actively working, people. If you're listening, we're working hard. I'm trying to figure it out. It's just not as easy as I thought it would be in terms of finding an attorney.
Yep. So yeah, I guess final word, I want to repeat what Chris just said. Whether it's grief or anything else, Chris and I are here and we care about you. We don't know a lot of you who are listening, but we care about you. If you need to talk, we will listen. If you need to yell, we will listen. If you need something that we can't help you with, we will listen and we will use our resources to try to get you connected. But please know that there are two people that you're looking at or listening to right now who will walk with you through whatever you're going through, grief or anything. You are not alone. I can promise you that.
100% not alone. We're here for you guys. So with that, Dan, thanks for another great episode. It's always great spending time with one of my best friends, talking about what we're dealing with.
And
so with that, we're gonna. Oh, Dan, go ahead.
Yep, you were gonna say it too. We'll see everybody next time on A Father's Love, Healing Through Heartache. Thanks for tuning in.
Have a good one.